podcast, killing everybody, taking dog tags. Dog, this is awesome, it's Optimus Prime, and your quadrant and talking to you, got that? I was in a mind when I crafted this. The Dungeon Master's wrath with a dash of sick. I dash like Sonic Mad, not a pacifist, but pacifist the tracks when I'm rapping, kids. We the last of us, the master race. Take him with a master hand, it's cancerous. I hit him with the master sword, and sure, I make a nice sword, but I wonder how four guys make a Triforce.
Hey guys, welcome to the Trinity Force podcast. You're listening to episode number 171. My name is Adam Ponophobia Cogswell, and as always, I'm your host, and here with a bunch of great guys. I shouldn't call them great, because Chira was giving me shit before this podcast about Tinder and talking to women and things.
You started it.
3-day rule.
And your ability to send email. Let's not forget that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you're not good at anything.
My ass. I sent you an email about receiving free product.
You didn't send me
the
shit.
only guy in this entire podcast that would go nuts for the product that we are receiving and doesn't receive the email.
You know what?
Air
you didn't
quotes.
send me any emails. I don't have anything in my inbox. I say with a smile and the fact that I probably didn't even check it. But be that as it may, I didn't necessarily receive any email. Allegedly, you sent me email.
Well, allegedly, you are going to be on the podcast after this episode.
Oh, okay. Well, that's how it is. I'm out. See ya.
Well, DeClaude and his puppy is here.
Hello. He can't say hi. He's too sleepy.
He's in front of the air conditioning unit.
Yep.
Oh,
Chira could fuck off, and Dom is here.
how's it going?
The face. All right, well, let's jump right into news real quick. So, you guys, as you know, Battle Arena, we need to talk about that. And the moment you've all been waiting for, drumroll. Not Oceanic, EU West Battle Arena goes live next Thursday.
Yay!
Woo!
Oh,
Don't call
Next
for
Thursday.
a drum roll while I'm sipping.
They still
my
gotta
beer.
wait
You
a whole
can't
week?
do that.
Well, the problem is we are live on Wednesdays, but the podcast doesn't come out till Fridays, so no one will know that it's actually live this tomorrow or the day before, whatever day you listen to the podcast. So, next Thursday, that would be June the 26th at 7 p.m. CEST is when it goes live. Then we have a EUS caster and Badger who doesn't feel like he ever has to stretch himself thin.
This guy doesn't have to sleep, does he?
No.
Good guy, Badger.
Yep, he has ran with the ballerina stuff and really helped out with that. Actually, I put him
He
in
has.
charge because of how much he wanted to do. I said, go for it. You are now the battle arena captain, and you will go and do all of the battle arena things. So join in-game chat channel T-Force to do that. Sorry, Dom. No.
It's not
that was a
important.
long blink and a head shake.
It wasn't important.
Best of both worlds.
I like
It wasn't actually important.
Okay. Other than that, the Oceanic Battle Arena starts next Thursday at 7 p.m. AWST, which is Australian Western Standard Time, if I have that correct from last
You got it, yep.
podcast. Bronze Boot Camp is every Saturday, including this Saturday, from noon until 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's where you can go in there for your bronze level and only bronze level to play in a battle arena and get a shoutcasted game. And, of course, Battle Arena is every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So you guys go there. Badger will be casting all of those with Asterishan and his fellow friends. Don't forget, guys,
Learn
check
your
out.
time zones.
Yeah, you're going to have
We
to.
should put a time zone calculator on our website for everything.
It's
since we're
coming
below.
in the rework that is eventually going to be here in like 7 months.
Nice. Good idea.
Not sure if serious.
But yeah, guys, join Battle Arena. It's a great way to get better at this game, and it's a great way to get yourself worked into the Victorious Gaming tournaments that we talked about, which goes on every single day. So once you've graduated from Battle Arena, you can go try to get RP by playing in a tournament. With all of that said, Asterishan and Snagglewolf have been brought on to the T-Force family, the T-Force Network family, and every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, so 1 hour before we go live, they will be doing a Journey to Level 30. It's a half-an-hour episode teaching you the very basic fundamentals of this game. So while we assume you know a basic level about the game or enough to understand what we're talking about, and these guys are going to go one step back and teach you everything from last hitting to what lane is, to lane control, to what the jungle is, how to jungle, everything. You know, the very super basics of this game where some of you that are just fresh level 30 or working your way there need to learn.
All of the things I wish I would have known
Yep.
when I hit 30, or even, wish I would have known that I needed to know when I hit 30, all that stuff.
Right. So you guys, and of course, every single video we ever do, youtube.com/T-Force podcast. Thanks for laughing while I'm trying to plug it.
That's a proper plug, though.
I couldn't help it.
Well,
That's funny.
YouTube.com/TForce Podcast, guys. Go check that out. All the videos go up there, including our sister and brother show, the LCS Rundown, which goes live Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and the OzLOL podcast, which unfortunately does not go live yet. They are working on that, so they will be going live here, in a few weeks, hopefully. And yeah, you guys go check out the OzLOL and the LCS Rundown. We're bringing tons of content for you as fast as we can, and you'll get all those updates by following us on Facebook or Twitter at TForce Podcast. So that is it for that piece. We could talk about the nature box real quick if we wanted to, and then move into patch 4.10 discussion. So does someone want to jump right into that and tell people why you need to get Nature Box?
So for anybody who hasn't heard me shout about Nature Box to the high heavens, you should go to tinyurl.com/TForce Nature and order yourself some snacks because they're freaking delicious, and I'm out and waiting my next box, which is really sad. And they make awesome the box makes awesome cat toys. My cat
still plays in it, right?
Lives in the box. Yeah. She's not there now, but her
tell about the catnip.
Her big old sack of catnip that she lays on top of is sitting in the box. And if there were lights on in my apartment, I would show you, but I'm not getting up to turn those on. So sorry about that.
I definitely stole some Nature Box products from my roommate today.
Did you really?
Some cranberry macaroon cluster things. They were freaking delicious. Just exactly what I needed when I got home from work.
You're just going to replace those later with the Nature Box that you have purchased for yourself.
Yes. But since I don't have that, I had to steal.
Oh, okay. Well, pickpocket your way through life, Dom.
Yeah.
I feel like you're playing a real-life MMO.
Obviously.
All right. Well, let's get into patch 4.10 discussion, the big giant patch that we had talked about. We talked about the itemization changes already, so we're not going to talk about those again. We're also not going to talk about the Nidalee rework. Womp womp. I know you guys want to hear about that. But it's because we want to be able to play with the itemization changes after our speculation, and we want to be able to play with Nidalee. But the patch did hit today, which is Wednesday the 18th, and we have all been at work all day, so we haven't had a chance to try those yet. But we will talk about the rest of the changes, the balance changes and whatnot. And then if we have time at the end, we'll jump into listener questions. So we'll
sounds good.
I gotta feel like you're super excited about the Skarner stuff, Shira.
Oh yeah, well now
when I say to Adam, it's gonna be hard to podcast with such huge throbbing erections.
Yeah.
To keep our Archer
Wow.
thievery going.
I'm really
Don't
really
pass out.
excited. Are we talking about that now?
Yeah, let's talk about Skarner. Skarner's fine.
All right.
We can do that because it's not we don't like to talk about the giant, full encompassing reworks
Right.
on the day that they come out.
Plus, I want a jungler tonight anyway and see how that whole shit show is gonna play out. So this is gonna be great.
Skarner.
Anyway, for Skarner, so they changed up a bunch of stuff with Skarner because he was a champion that was
Lackluster.
yeah, and then they released him and he was still pretty lackluster. So, for everybody who knew what his old passive was, and if you don't, I'll tell you what it is. Every time he auto-attacked, they basically removed a second off all of his cooldowns. So the more you hit stuff, the more you were spamming abilities, which was awesome. And he has a new passive instead now called Crystalline Sting. And basically...
Crystallizing.
It says, Crystallizing Sting. God, can't do this. And basically, every auto attack that he does applies, his damaging spells apply a Crystal Venom. And this Crystal Venom applies to champions and large monsters. And basically, after he has 3 stacks of this Crystal Venom on somebody and he lands a basic attack, it does an additional bonus 20 to 105 magic damage and stuns the target starting for 0.5 seconds to 3/4 of a second to a full second. So you can look at it almost like an Udyr bear stun, but he has it on a 3-hit passive. And after
Braum.
or Braum.
Yeah. Very Braum-esque.
It's kind of like right in the middle of the two, which is really cool. But after
the big deal is you gotta. It's not your auto attack. It's 3 spells.
Yeah, you have to. Well, it's like just.
It's not a press. It's not a press a button. Like it's not like Udyr in that it's press a button and stun. It's
right.
Press 3 buttons and stun.
Right. The thing is, after being stunned, the target can't be debuffed by Crystal Venom for 6 seconds after the stun goes off. So that's
Pretty
kind of like
normal flare or fair.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
people.
That's the same thing with the Udyr stun. That's the same thing with Yasuo's dash. You
Braum
can't
stun.
just spam stun the shit out of somebody, which would be so overpowered it would break the game. So they also changed up his Q, which is still spammable for the most part, but instead of having his old passive where it reduced the cooldown on all of his abilities, his Q now reduces the cooldown. Every auto attack he has reduces the cooldown on his Crystal Slash, which is his Q, by half a second. And that half a second, it becomes a full second when he auto attacks champions.
He gets to keep his old passive,
Yep,
just
on the Q.
as far as Q was
First
concerned,
Q,
and
yeah.
that was
Which is what you used it for.
Right.
You need
well, that and the ult.
But his Q no longer gives him attack speed. So if you want the attack speed on him, you're probably gonna have to build the attack speed on him.
Yeah, he doesn't get free attack speed.
He doesn't get free attack speed anymore. Not on his Q, not on his W, but he gets increased movement speed, which it goes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 throughout up the ranks for increased movement speed, but it stacks up to 3 times. So you hit somebody 3 times with that shit at the end of the game, and you are running around with 21% increased movement speed.
I'm not getting away from you.
Yeah, that you are going to be the speed racer of Summoner's Rift, and nobody is ever escaping you unless they get a peel or something.
Unless they're Remus
Right.
or Hecarim.
To also make up for the fact that they removed his old passive, they reduced the cooldown on both his W. So it went from being 16 seconds at all ranks down to 13, 12 and a half, 12, 11 and a half, and 11 and a half, 11 seconds at max rank.
Struggle bus tonight.
Yeah, I know, right? It's because I've been drinking. I haven't had booze in a while. It's depressing. And then they lowered the damage on his fracture by about half and reduced the ability power ratio. So goodbye, AP Skarner. We knew ye well. And they reduced the cooldown on that as well.
Okay.
Did you ever do that? Was it?
That was Andrew's thing.
Oh yeah, it was.
That was Andrew's thing. He's got to be just crying right now.
But AP Skarner?
Yeah.
He actually did that. He get
AP
like a
Skarner
lot of
was really
pieces.
good too.
So something here to talk about.
Andrew's a professional asshole.
Yeah.
Well, too bad no one here knows who Andrew is, right?
He's
A friend of ours.
Nobody
but-
knows who Punchinello is, and you still bring him up.
Fair enough.
Love you, Punch.
But yeah, so something to point out here, and this was something I had asked Dom about originally, was how does his passive interact with his ultimate? And it's something to take into consideration that as you stack up the passive, as soon as you use the ultimate, it does damage based on how many passive stacks they have on them, and it increases damage with each stack, and it will automatically remove all those passive stacks and do the extra damage. So if you
That's
were
a
about
lot
to
of
do,
damage.
so if you're about to do 3, instead of stunning or instead of wasting the stun and doing nothing, it does a lot of damage right off the bat, and
While you're
I
dragging.
want to go. I want to go.
It
check
gives you
the-
bursty
it
damage.
deals 50, 75, 100 magic damage per stack consumed.
Per stack.
So it can deal
Yeah.
300 instant damage with Impale if you had all 3 up there.
Wow.
And
That's
that's on
magic
top
damage.
of the. That's on top of the 100, 150, 200 flat there.
From what I've seen watching streams and from what I've
Or
been told,
no, up to 400, I guess.
is that a Skarner can run through into the back line with his crystalline exoskeleton, popped, and grab a carry and pretty much half a carry in one chunk of spell, and drag them back right out.
I can see that with those numbers. Jeez. As long as you
Yeah.
have 3 stacks, though, you got to hit
Well,
them.
and here's the thing too.
Well, it's
I mean-
it's EQR. That's 3 stacks.
Right. You should probably,
The
yep.
the impale doesn't. I don't. How does
No, the Impale applies a third stack.
Yeah. So
So you're
you
always
wouldn't-
gonna. I think you're always gonna deal 1 stack's worth of damage
You're
when
always
you
gonna deal
use the
50
ability.
damage.
But if you have 2 stacks on them, then all of a sudden that's where the third stack comes in. So you deal
and you get a big burst.
500 damage initially, and then when the suppression ends, another 200 damage. So yeah, that's a huge chunk of damage.
Yeah, that's half. Right. So it's. Go ahead.
Well, you got to mess with him tonight and see. Or, because remember the last time he was reworked? We had no idea.
But we
He's
liked
gonna
him.
need some
We
play.
liked him.
With the original post rework Skarner before they actually changed him up again, it was, for me at least when I was playing him, it was either feast or famine. Either I got fed as shit and carried the hell out of the game, or else I was borderline useless. And I hope this kind of brings him more in line with the just
Other junglers?
useful more like most of the time, and not either great or shitty. I don't know. I like the changes, but I gotta play him first too. So we'll see how it works out.
Right. And he's still working the same way as he did before. He's just got that extra stun build in his kit, so he can still grab and pull somebody back into the line or flash grab. Is that bugged still? Or did they change that? And don't forget to mark that time.
They changed it with the rework, but he had lost his sort of innate stickiness, and that's what people have actually been complaining about. Like, it was the regular Skarner players didn't like that he lost his ability to just stick to whatever target he wanted to get to, and either keep them locked in one position or out of a fight, for whatever reason there. And so that's what they're trying to address with this set of changes, by giving him that extra stun. It's he's
now
got
you
the
don't have
ability
to stick to somebody.
Right.
Well, you got to hit him.
You set up a gank, but
Yeah.
pre-6 better.
Well, and it isn't even that you can't stick to people now. That the changes are now that people can't. They're not slowed down, but they're not going to get away from you if it's just you and them chasing them.
No, because he will stick to them just by virtue of getting so
Of
much
move
bonus
speed.
movement speed.
Right.
It's just not people think when you say stick to them, you automatically assume you're slowing them down, and that's not really the full scope of things. So he will be able to stay with whoever he feels like.
He's going to be running
that's
around
right.
with a built-in Hecarim E the entire time that he's attacking somebody. So he's
Yeah.
going to be running up, and they're not going to be
But
able to outrun him.
That stun gives him enough time to lock somebody down for teammates to arrive, or frankly even just stop them from getting to a safe point, or enforce them to blow a summoner or whatever.
And
And yeah,
between
like the Claude said, it sets up ganks really well now.
Between that bonus move speed and an Iceborne Gauntlet, he will have all the stickiness there ever was.
He
and
doesn't
nobody's
even
getting away
need the
from him.
stickiness now. That's the thing. He does a lot of damage with his passive
Right.
alone, 105 magic damage at max rank, and you're still looking at 20 to 50 damage in between that. And then Impale at level 6. If you walk up to somebody at level 6 who is 3/4 life or less, they're dead.
You can execute them. Yeah.
Not just by Skarner, but Skarner with a gank, they're dead. He looks like now he's a great solo queue champion, and he should be able to clear probably fairly quickly. Not one of the fastest, not one of the slowest, right in the middle. But if all you do is you spend your time farming, build Spirit the Elder Lizard, and then run around till you get to 6, and then start ganking like crazy. Hell, you can even gank before that with Fracture if you want to, and it allows him to gank with Fracture, unlike before where he had no CC.
They baked way more passive damage into his kit, but that passive damage is gated with the 6 seconds and whatnot, and they removed quite a bit of damage from his other abilities. So I don't know. In my opinion, he's going to be way more of that jungle utility tank that can still do passive damage, but I don't think his damage is going to be as good as it was.
Everything I'm reading here
Pre-patch.
suggests he actually still does get the bonus attack speed on Crystal Slash.
It doesn't say it on the...
It doesn't say it in the patch
It
notes.
shows
but
the
it
changes in the patch notes. It doesn't
Yeah,
say the entire
on the
description.
League Wikia, it has the bonus attack speed, and then I checked the
Good, I hope that
the
stays.
in-game.
That's
It still
awesome.
has the bonus attack speed, and the in-game
Yeah, he does. Bonus
it
attack.
has all the
Good,
updates.
good,
so
good.
yeah, even better.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that helps his jungle clear too. That's great.
Right.
Just a big grin
I'm
on your
happy.
face,
I'm
right,
so
when,
happy.
right when you learned all
You
that.
can't wait.
Well, I like it. I
I'll play Braum while
like
I
where
group.
he's at now at this point because of Crystalline Exoskeleton and Fracture. You're gating in move speed when you're running out of the jungle at somebody. You're slowing them, then you're stunning them with 2 hits of Q. And at that point, you should be able to destroy somebody if you catch them anywhere away from their tower.
Maybe now we'll finally see Battlecast Skarner.
Yeah.
Right? I was hoping it would come with this patch because they're fixing Skarner. They've been hinting at it. It's in the pictures.
No, sorry, you're getting Hunter Nidalee instead.
Yeah. Bleh.
Right. So we'll have to see how Gragas plays out. From everything I've seen, everyone that's
I guess
messaged me, they're all
Skarner?
Skarner. I was looking at Gragas changes. Everything is leading me to believe that he's pretty powerful right now and should be played more and more often. But
See,
interesting change here with the Galio because they changed Athene's unholy grail. They removed magic resist on that item finally, and they also started to change up how the AP assassins work. Like with LeBlanc, we'll talk about a little later. Sigil of Malice no longer has the
Sigil.
Sigil. Sorry, Sigil of Malice no longer has the silence It was Sigil of Silence before. But Galio now increases magic resist per level. It's 1.25 magic resist per level, which equals 0.625 AP per level.
Is he the only champion in the game with magic resist per level?
No, a lot of the tanks got it a while back.
They have it too? Okay.
Yeah. A lot, like, that was one of the big things in Season 2, is, that
Adding
some people didn't like to play Sejuani because of she didn't have scaling magic resist, while Amumu did. So that was like the argument when we were arguing for Sejuani to be played. But yeah,
I mean it's a handful of them, but and they all the tanks that have it do
he
get.
Should have had it to begin with.
It is weird that he didn't have it.
Yeah.
It's not just tanks. It's a lot of melee champions have it. Like Diana, I think, has some.
Well, there's no other champions in this game that have scaling or magic resist, or excuse me, AP per level, right?
AP
there are no champions that get AP per level, correct?
Well,
so Galio, and that's why they didn't want to give it.
Because of that, right.
That's why they didn't want to give it to him.
There you go. There's the point.
Because of his passive, but finally they're kind of in a position who's like,
it's not that much.
Well, 0.625 per level, you're getting 18 ability, less than 18 ability power at level 18. It's not really, you're not giving him anything. And to put somebody that is designed as the anti-mage in the mid lane that has he's hamstrung to be melee, I don't see why he wouldn't receive a buff on magic resist per level.
I don't know. It's a nice
dipping their toe in the water here with it. See how it plays out. Maybe they'll adjust it.
It's a nice quality of life thing for him. It'll make Galio players happy for now and everything. But I think this guy needs some long-term attention. He's just, I don't know, bland, I guess, really. He just kind of feels uninspired. And we played him in that mirror mode match, Sean.
Oh, yeah.
Galios, and I was just like, this guy, he just feels clunky to me, is what it really comes down to.
He does feel clunky. He could use some love, that's for sure.
There was no damage done at all by anybody.
It was funny.
Entire game. It was terrible.
Well, I'm happy to see that they're going back through and changing some of the Karthus stuff. Like Requiem's visual effects are now more noticeable. I remember playing with the first night that he came out, and I was like, "Well, alt." And you're like, "Oh, I just did." I was like, "I didn't even see it come down." Like it used to be this big red line, and now it was a green wavy or a green plasma line that come down. So
they didn't mention fixing the bug where it looked like his ult was still up to your teammates with the green dot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's annoying.
I didn't see that in the notes, so
as a small PSA, don't necessarily yell at your Karthus in solo queue if
exactly
it has a green dot and it looks like his ult's still up because
we all did that to Shira.
Yeah, they all yelled at me, and
because we couldn't even see him use his ult. I use it. What are you talking about? It's still
green. I don't
green.
even know why I play with you guys. You're so mean.
All right. Well, Leblanc changes. We talked about this before. Sigil of Malice. Was Sigil of Silence, and so they removed the silence effect from it.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
That's a huge deal. Like it
for
a single line description and change and everything. This is a huge deal.
Well, why don't we get into it then, Dom?
There is considerably more counterplay opportunities, particularly during the laning phase when she used to be able to just blow somebody up because they couldn't take an action. They'd get silenced and then rooted and then die.
Yeah,
that was like her big gimmick. If she was, if she jumped on you, got her chains off, W'd, and popped her little burst, it didn't matter if you had an escape or not. You were probably dead.
Yeah, you were gonna die.
Yeah,
and it was just because she removed your ability to take an action for the one moment that you needed to take an action. And
there's 100 times where you could counterplay LeBlanc, but you've been silenced and you have to wait out that second and half silence or whatever it was before, and that's enough time for her to land, like you said, land a change, jump in, W, take half your life.
And they've acknowledged that this is sort of an issue on Talon as well, but nobody's really playing Talon, so they're not going to dive into that unless it becomes a problem.
That's funny. I think it's funny that they're removing pieces of this game. Like they removed dodge a long time ago, and now they're slowly removing silence from the game because they realize that people need to be able to counterplay.
Who still has silences these days?
Cho'Gath.
Rogath.
That's why he beats Ren top.
That's right.
Fiddlesticks. No, that's
The fear.
Fiddlesticks.
On his E. Yeah, on his E.
Yeah.
He has the small silence.
He has the most annoying silence.
And it can double silence you too.
Yeah,
it can double silence you.
Oh yeah, his crows, the bouncing crows.
Yeah, Soraka has a silence with her E.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of silences. They're just taking away from the bursty assassants, I guess. So I think Talon is next up on the plate.
Bursty assassins that you have no counterplay against.
Right.
Right, yeah. Well, champions like that don't generally do a ton of burst damage, or like the only one out of that group that is a problem is Fiddlesticks. But he has counterplay early, unlike a Leblanc.
Right.
Who is still able to burst you at level 3.
Well, that and other than the main target, it's all, kind of random chance if the whole team's getting silenced or not, or you get double silence. I don't like the fact that there's so much randomness with his, crow bullshit.
I don't know. I don't feel like it's random. I feel like if you hit a minion, it's hitting a champion if they're standing near it, no matter what. Then it's bouncing through all the champions. It definitely prioritizes champions.
It's a good chance.
It can, but sometimes it'll hit a champion and then just bounce the rest of the minions, or I don't know. It's still there's the randomness factor, which is kind of cool, but whatever.
I haven't run into it in a long time now, but I hated running into support Fiddlesticks just because like that early game you'd get hit by one of those crows and you would even be trying to get out of range and it would just bounce between you and your partner.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
You try to run away and he
obnoxious.
throws one and you're at half health.
I'm at half health. Awesome. We're both at half health and now we lost lane because of one good crow.
Yep. Well, now Fiddlesticks can fight LeBlanc a little better because she can't sign him to interrupt his little
He can
heal.
hear her when she cues him.
But she can still stun him.
Just about everybody can fight LeBlanc now, and that's good.
So the funny part is that she's
still good, though.
She has a 75% ban rate. She has one of the worst win rates in this game right now.
She's hard to play.
She is hard to play.
She's hard to play. Well, she's hard to play well. And
she's in the bottom 10.
It's one of those champions, though, that you don't want to risk somebody being able to play it well. So
Right.
you
You did that.
Yeah.
What?
You did that in the VG tournament over the weekend.
Yeah, right. I didn't ban LeBlanc, and someone
fucked
picked
up.
her and played her very well.
But
So of course it's your fault.
I mean, like, didn't they even say in the notes that this is geared a little bit towards the very high levels of play where she really is a huge problem?
Oh yeah, I can imagine her being at pro level. You see her get picked quite a bit in the pro level just because she can counter the mid and she can hold her own, and it's what we talked about quite a bit. Where mid lane is no longer a ganking lane; it's a hold your own and try to win it.
And her mobility is just insane. So
Yes.
Well, it's mobility at a cost. Of not being able to get a double burst off, but a lot of people are maxing the double first.
Well, they max W first because it makes it much easier to clear lane since she's notoriously hard to last hit on.
It's sort of like old Karthus. Is the new Karthus VU easier to last hit on with an auto attack? Anybody?
It's all right. I mean, I
thought you played.
Most people farm with Q after they have their mana items anyway. So
pretty much. Even without your mana items, you can farm with Q. You don't really need to auto attack, but I haven't noticed a change for the auto attack. Okay. But the Q is easier to hit with because you can set up your single target hits instead of doubling up, and you can double the damage.
Okay, well, let's talk about Lucian then, because Lucian has been a problem for a while now. He is one of the champions that's picked most frequently as an AD carry because of his damage and harass and lane.
And he's just safe.
Right, he is super safe.
So they're addressing this by changing Ardent Blaze, which is W, from 0.6 AD ratio to 0.3. And they mentioned in the notes...
Bonus AD.
This is,
bonus AD ratio. They mentioned in this that they wanted Ardent Blaze to be a utility spell and not a burst spell.
Which is how they wanted it to begin with.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And I like how they word their little description here that based on how he works out with the changes to all the AD itemization, there might be more changes on the radar. It kind of... And
that's just it. I was going to say, like, this might be meaningful if they hadn't just changed all of the items, but because there are so many unknowns going into this now, it's going to... But you didn't even level Q during laning anyway.
Yeah, but looking at the item changes now...
I'm sorry, you didn't level W.
To be honest, I didn't think W was at all the issue, but...
No, I mean,
we'll see.
Doesn't Q's AD ratio actually improve as you put ranks into it?
Yeah.
Like, it's not... Like, most abilities have a flat AD ratio, and his actually gets better.
Well, I'm going to quickly move over to Twitch and then move back to Lucian and Twitch because I want to talk about like some of the items and how bottom lane is changing as well. Because Deadly Venom, the true damage has been halved well, it's been significantly reduced. Actually, it's been halved at
More
level
than
1
half,
and
yeah.
2, 3, and 4. But well, let me look in here. Oh, sorry, it's been halved across the board. Just about. The only one that wasn't was levels 5 and 6, which is 5 and 6 damage. So it just they removed his early game power with that passive of doing true damage.
Which is fine. Hyper carries don't need to be good early and late.
Right. And then ambush. A big one here is the ambush. The stealth time without taking damage is now 1.5 seconds. It already felt like it took a little bit extra time to get in there. If you were in lane waiting in the bush to ambush somebody, now you have to wait an extra 0.25 seconds and then walk your way in there.
I don't think that's as big of a deal as the change from 3 to 6 seconds if he's taking damage.
You're gone. You're gone if you get at that point.
Okay, first of all, that removes Twitch's ability to escape with that. Yeah.
And he shouldn't have had that. If you fucked up and let yourself get caught there, you shouldn't have been able to still get out of trouble without, using Summoner's ability. I'm sorry, I really agree with this change.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But I don't play AD carry that much, unless you're playing Dom, so it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, he was designed not to have an escape because he doesn't have a dash and anything. He's supposed to be a risky player, and he wasn't. Now you really are. You're toast.
Yeah, you just can't get caught anymore. You're not allowed to split push and get caught. Like, you have to make your ambush worthwhile.
Yeah.
I think we're not going to see much Twitch for a while between this and the item changes, but it's going to be another one of those things where as the game evolves, people are suddenly going to be like, oh yeah, wait, Twitch does so much awesome stuff. Why did we stop playing him? Like, remember last time he got nerfs, nobody played him until
the Koreans brought
2
him
months
back.
ago. Yeah, until the Koreans brought him back. And that's just...
And they're like, oh my god, where'd he come from?
Yeah, well, he's still
frankly, it's going to be like... Other AD carriers are going to come into flavor, and they'll get attention, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, Twitch, why did we stop playing him?
That's the same thing with Corki, and that's why Corki started coming back. Because Ezreal fell out of flavor, and Graves completely fell off after people... I don't understand why people, for the longest time, thought Graves was good just because of those changes. Like, people were touting him on... whatever, but he has no siege potential, and he had to win his lane to be worthwhile anywhere. And then, I don't know how many times I've hit level 6 and gone into a team fight and felt like I did no damage. Didn't even have a BF sword, barely, and you're still not doing any damage with his combo.
Graves got screwed by the item changes.
Oh yeah, Graves.
I don't know. With
Graves and MF.
Well, look at the Bloodthirster. Don't you think that helps him a little with his? It kind of synergizes with him and his tankiness.
No, it's way worse now because it gets so much less damage, and he needed all that bonus
overall
damage for the
cast
cast
farmed. Yeah.
Well, look at it this way with Bloodthirster. It is better off to go for the eye edge first now than most of the other items. Not counting Essence Reaver and
Blade of the Rune King on people like Vayne.
Yeah. Let's assume those two items are not in this conversation just for the sake of Graves. Bloodthirster now, Bloodthirster Zeal, you're paying 400 gold more for 30 less attack damage and 10% more or 5% more attack speed. It helps Graves none at all, because like the overhealing passive on Bloodthirster doesn't give you very much early. It gives you maybe a 50 damage shield.
Well, and that was the other thing with him being an AD caster as well, that if you could farm up the extra bonus damage, that helped your trade potential in lane. And since it's a defensive AD carry item with all the lifesteal anyway, and he's already tanky as shit with his passive, it really helped off his ability to trade back and forth.
I mean, you can make an argument that he will get a lot out of the Essence Reaver, because he is pretty caster oriented and everything. That's an item you should be able to get reasonably quick.
So
he does have mana problems, and cooldown reduction is going to be a good thing for him. The problem is, where do you go from there? Because it seems like all the other champions that are going to buy Essence Reaver are going straight to Trinity Force because they just want to have huge spike damage, and Graves doesn't have a good reason to buy that item.
Right, not at all.
So his situation is Graves.
It's very Graves at this point. It's just
unfortunate
I don't like
that they put the attack speed steroid on his escape.
Well, because
I'm okay with that.
That's because they traded it off because they made him tankier with his passive.
Yeah, so they want you to use it to go in, but I like Graves. I really do enjoy playing Graves.
I should talk to my brother.
Pure damage, but
because my brother is still a big fan of Graves. And obviously Graves fell out of flavor, so he didn't play him as much, but he played a lot of Graves for a long time.
I used to play Graves a lot. I think he's been hurt too much by these changes, especially early where you need to be able to trade. Lucian with Essence Reaver and the change now that bottom lane has now turned into a big-time farm lane, and I wouldn't be surprised if we started to see the super aggressive support come back, or maybe even, in solo queue or in rank 5. What are you giggling about?
Nothing.
You guys are just going fucking nuts.
They're reading chat.
It's podcast puns.
Oh yeah, I'm not reading chat. So, but my train of thought is right now I feel like the eye edge is the item to get early because that crit. Because lane now, unless you're getting ganks, is just totally farm because you're not going to get that early BF sword, and it's not you're not going to get the BF sword as early as you did before because you're going to spend more gold into the Doran's items to have that life steal early and have that extra life to stay in the lane to farm more because all you want to put all your extra farm onto your AD carry to make them better into the mid game when they'll pick up that BF sword and stuff. And then if the laning phase is still going on, it's all about the crit at that point. Whoever gets that first crit off, especially at 250% extra damage, that eye edge is going to win that trade.
How much does...
In fact, that was the big thing Double Lift said he feared with the new IE is that whoever gets that first IE crit completely just shut the other person out from farming because then there's all the kill potential in that dude that just took a quarter of his health in one hit.
Right.
2650.
Yeah, because these Doran's changes where now it has a 3% lifesteal on it, Rain Man builds are back. People will be building more
5
Doran's items now. Because it's now worth it to buy them because you have scaling lifesteal. But speaking of like top lane, I feel like the Warden's Mail changes, we kind of covered those last week, and these Doran's item changes actually kill off a lot of the top lane champions. I don't think we'll see much Shyvana anymore because of the Warden's Mail changes.
That's the thing. It hurts a lot of champions that don't have like instant gap closers, more so like the people who are running up to catch up to people. And that's because they completely removed all the move speed slowing from whoever's hitting the guy with the Randuin's or the Warden's Mail or anything like that. So now Shyvana can't, you hit her and now you're slowed. You're not slowed and she's not speed boosting to you. She's just speed boosting to you and it gives you that little extra gap to get away.
I'm actually worried people are going to start building Frozen Mallet because of the Warden's Mail change.
It's gone. Frozen Mallet's gone.
Oh, they removed it?
Yep.
Awesome. Good.
Peace!
Adam feels
finally,
so vindicated that
I did not get to that point.
You should have a drink to that. You've been waiting for this day for a long time, Adam.
You're not going to pour a 40 out for your good friend Frozen Mallet?
Fuck that goddamn item. Such a fucking trap.
Did they remove it? Are you sure it's gone?
I don't see it being
gone. Because I saw them
talked about it being gone.
They talked about it, but I don't think they got rid of it yet.
I don't think they got rid of it.
If it's not gone, I'm buying it on Nidalee tonight.
It's gone as far as Adam's concerned.
It's been gone since season 2 as far as I'm concerned. I fucking wrote an article about that bitch. And when Phage was different.
No, I know, but I'm saying, like, I'm worried that people are actually going to buy it now and they shouldn't.
Well, you know what?
I don't think so because the damage isn't going to be the same.
Here's the other piece.
Entropy entropy, whatever the hell it's called, into the
entropy.
Game. Entropy. There it is.
Entropy. There you go. There's a chemistry term for you. Anyway, with the Frozen Mallet thing, though, on people like Shyvana, that doesn't make all that much difference anyway, because if she doesn't have ult, so she can't just immediately gap close to you, she's not going to hit him anyway to get that Frozen Mallet.
I know we know that.
But people are
players
silly.
don't necessarily know that, and they're going to think, okay, well, I still need the slow, and I lost it from Randuin, so I got to get it somewhere else.
I don't think
Frozen Mallet has health.
I don't think the Randuin slow is such a big deal. The loss of the slow, it still has great tanky stats. It's got health and armor combined.
Sure.
It has a good active, which is PB AoE range. So if you can get up into range to use that, that'll give you, or even just to use your Bork if you're one of those top laners, you're still good to go. It's just in the big team fights where you're trying to dogpile that ADC and they're kiting you a little bit, maybe they'll have to concentrate on you to get away, and they'll be able to keep you at bay instead of you going.
Well, here's
the other thing. Here's the other thing with that.
I think he's going to be way powerful.
The only thing that adds any real difference to Randuin's as compared to like Frozen Heart is the fact that you're getting health over cooldown reduction for Frozen Heart.
Right.
So, like, I don't necessarily feel like Randuin's is that much better than Sunfire Cape now, since the main reason I would want a Randuin's anyway was so that I could counter kite somebody that was shooting me.
Mm-hmm. I like
honestly,
the slow if I'm jumping into 5 of them, but
Right.
in the
I
small
like the
skirmishes, it's not as great.
Well,
Right.
I play Volibear. He's my favorite top champion. So I love the Randuin slow because I'll run in with my Q. That'll get me into range for my E or my Randuins, and I'll just time it so that they have that slow for both the E and the Randuins forever. And I'll pretty much get, as long as I get him and I can fling him over my head,
Well, I
I'm
don't
good.
think-
And that guarantees that. So
None of us are saying that the slow isn't a good. I don't think any of us are trying to say the slow isn't good, but I think the being able to stick on somebody is what's gonna hurt a lot of these people. Because like Shyvana can jump in and she gets her move speed increase, but she can't kill a Caitlyn in that rotation, just like a Volibear. Well, a Volibear can flip. Like that's a little different. But like a Shyvana, for example, doesn't have the sticking power to a Caitlyn like she did before, and she doesn't have the kill potential. She's never had the kill potential where she can, one combo somebody.
Right.
So that is the real issue here: is that she can push them out of the fight like she's supposed to do, but she can't stick on them and kill them. And when I say issue, I just mean an issue for that champion. I don't mean an issue for the overall game design.
Do you
So
still
give her
think,
reds now.
I mean, what do you think we're going to see in top lane then? Obviously, your boy Master Yi.
Here's the problem too with top lane. Yeah.
I don't think
we
it'll
did
change
talk-
much.
the
seriously.
teleport changes are huge,
Oh,
and I
yeah,
think it's
the
going to
teleport
actually
changes.
remove Jax a little bit from competitive play.
Yeah, 40
Yeah, I
seconds
can
is
see that.
big.
Yeah, from competitive, not from solo queue.
Right.
I'm
Fun
gonna
fact.
play
Fun
the
fact.
shit out of
Jax
him
went
when they
0
stop
and
banning
7
him.
last week in the LCS.
Really?
Granted, a lot of the lower tier teams
Yeah,
were
he
picking
did.
him, but he did not do very well this last week. And because of those teleport changes, that's 40 extra seconds that you gain when you teleport to a tower now. And then they had changed that before. That 40 extra seconds on the cooldown, not the time it takes to get down
Yeah,
to.
okay.
Yeah, you have to sit base for a minute if you choose to teleport. So
Well, that
don't-
sucks.
Well, you know what? I don't think it'll kill Jax. Maybe
in solo queue, he's
hurt
fine.
him, but
Competitive, it's a big deal. In solo queue, it's fine.
It hurts all around, but it's
Well,
still not
the-
as bad as it used to be. And teleport was still used competitively before they fixed. They made it better for turrets. So I don't know. It's still the same on minions.
Right, but
which still
Jax
use
wasn't
flip
getting
push.
used before they.
Here's the thing: it removes 40 seconds of farming or experience from a champion who was able to abuse that extra 40 seconds to get
Not
a
even that,
slight
just-
advantage in lane.
And just
Or
the
it makes
split
you stick
pushing.
around longer.
Right.
You could employ
tools.
split pushes more frequently, and now there are fewer windows of opportunity for you to do that. That's
And also the dragons, you have to be more mindful when you use it. You have that because that's 40 seconds. It could mean the cooldown. Go back up to your lane, wait for it to come back up, and then go down the dragon. Like that's a really really long.
It
amount of
just-
time.
it removes.
You don't use it for
removes
split
total
pushing
map
though, because
pressure.
the towers are
Jax?
down. You're using it. You're using it on minions, so this nerf doesn't affect it at all in that regard. It
Oh,
only
that's a
affects
good
it for
point.
the
That's a
laning
good
phase.
point. That's a good point. No, he's right.
It only
You
affects
can-
it for the laning phase when you
Right.
go to a tower.
That's
yeah.
the thing. This
When you're
is
split pushing, you're going to
No,
jump to a minion out
he's
there
right,
in the middle
he's
of
right.
nowhere.
My point was not valid there. He's right.
Or
Yeah,
a
no,
ward.
that's completely right. The biggest thing that this hurts is the fact that now when Jax runs out of mana, so he's not able to throw as much burst somebody's
He's
way,
gotta
or
wait
he's
extra 30
hurt.
seconds and
Yeah,
risk.
that's 40. That's why I brought up the fact that he's not getting a 40-second extra amount of experience.
Right.
It makes
Pushing
playing a
somebody
little
out of
hard.
lane
It's
where he
still
can
a late
farm
game
easier.
beast.
He's still going to be a late game
Oh,
beast,
yeah,
but
nothing
that
changed
late
on
game
him.
is going to be pushed back a certain X
2
amount
minutes.
of time comparatively. Yeah. Well, the thing is, with Jax is the fact that you go to lane, say you killed somebody and you absolutely murdered somebody they took teleport to. You just went back and bought, and you came back to lane immediately, and you already have an advantage on them. You probably are going to kill them again. On the flip side of that, if you died in lane, you can just teleport right back to turret right away, and you're not missing out on that much XP or farm because you have all your health and mana back. That's huge for a champion who's borderline unkillable at the 35-minute point. If
Not
he
even
has
that, like at the 25-minute point.
Now he has. there's a
and when he has
40-second
2
extra
damage
window
items
each
and a
time.
Randuin's Omen, he's a pain in the ass to deal with. I think the teleport changes are going to hurt him, but he's still going to be a monster. Just it's going to be harder to get him to that monster point.
So the answer goes back to 5 minutes ago when Dom asked what champions you're going to see now. It's going to change LCS play. I don't know because the AD changes are going to change LCS play. So
I'm not
big.
asking you to
Guess-
predict LCS.
Guess who's
Don't
still
vote.
really freaking good? Renekton.
Well, that's what I was telling Dom earlier. I said, with all these changes to the AD items and Warden's Mail, Renekton is still really good.
He's still
and if he
amazing.
didn't go up a half a point, he went up a full point. You know what I'm saying? Like, in the scale of how good he is because of the item changes.
Well, here's the thing, too. He was one of the champions that didn't need Randuins to catch up to people either. He could build a Sunfire Cape and still slice and dice the fuck up to you and then stun you, and your team caught up and they were probably dead.
Yeah, no, he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit. And now, cool, you don't take teleport. You can take Ignite and offer way more early lane presence and keep somebody with teleport.
See, this is why I
Push
feel like
back.
people...
And let's not forget that his ult did get buffed a while back. It's not as good early, but it's better late game.
And mid.
And
it's really, with Renekton, is the mid game when Renekton shines and just goes
Yeah, I mean, like,
nuts.
he's a good pick. I don't know why I stopped seeing him, but
he got a stealth buff with the teleport changes. If he takes teleport,
you stop seeing him in competitive play because of the lane swaps. Because the main fights happen around 6, and he's weaker at 6 now than he was before.
Yeah, and that is what I meant when I said stop seeing him. He's at 17% for.
Right. I do think that this might mean in solo queue. I do think this might mean more people are taking Ignite, and we could see the return of Olaf in the top lane, like we had preached about a little bit before. I do think he could come back, a little bit. I don't think people are going to play him by any means. Like, just like Master Yi, who's going to play him? No one is.
He's going to be a gimmick pick that somebody who's really comfortable is going to go in and stomp the shit out of somebody who doesn't know how to deal with it.
But
or it'll be like a Voyboy situation in Season 3 where he picks him and then everybody's like, oh my god, Olaf is so good. Why have we not been playing him?
Yeah. Now, just this overall change really hurts bruisers. And I'm not saying we're not going to still see the bruisers, but this could have an impact on what we start seeing out of the jungle, because we've seen people like Saint Vicious and others say that the jungle picks are really boring right now. So we might start seeing more hyper carries in the top lane that are using the itemization changes of Doran.
I mean, you could see somebody like Kha'Zix in the top lane with a tier or Essence Reaver.
I mean, I feel like Jace should be making a comeback because of between Essence Reaver and some of these other changes. Doran's is going to help him out.
Jace has been slowly making a comeback, I've noticed, at least in solo queue.
Which is fine. He's a fun champion to watch.
Yeah, he's a fun champion to play. He's not fun to play against. Fuck all of that. He's miserable.
Oh, Adam, you said Riven earlier, and I was really worried about that.
Yeah, I said Riven. Riven could definitely be pretty big.
You mean the Bloodthirster and her shield compounding each other?
Fuck that.
Yeah.
No, just the extra Dorans. The Dorans changes.
The Doran changes are huge on Riven, because that's a bitch that can buy like 2-3 Dorans items.
She can buy 4 Dorans items and go into mid game and still stomp face. She doesn't need a brutalizer.
And be tanky.
She doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like.
Hey, let's give us health and bonus AD to the shield.
Yeah, right.
All
that
right.
makes sense.
And thanks to the life
She's
steal.
another one of those champs. Like, I never understand why people stop playing her. She's the pick for a hot minute, and then people stop picking her, and I'm never actually sure why that happened.
I actually became a much better Pantheon player because of when Riven was hot, because they would play all the time top, and I had to learn how to wait out that damn shield and how to manipulate my passive so I could survive while I wait out that shield and then do all my crap on her. Because that shield is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, the whole thing,
The big thing I learned about playing against a Riven is just don't try to. If you are on anything higher than 20 ping, don't even try to trade with her.
Here's the thing when you play against Riven. All right, here's the biggest thing you can do when you play against Riven. Don't die.
Yeah.
Just sit at your fucking turret and don't die, because if you die, you're fucked, and you're not coming back from it unless somebody camps the shit out of your lane. And I don't want any more people crying that Riven's invincible and she's gonna kill the shit out of you, and that she's OP and whatever, because she's not. Literally, all you have to do is just not die. As long as Riven doesn't get fed, she doesn't offer that much in team fights later on in the game.
They should change her little jumpy thing to go towards the cursor now too.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Like Nidalee.
What is that face for, Sean?
I thought it did on the first one, but then after that it doesn't.
It does.
On the first
It
one,
goes
right?
towards the cursor?
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Like it does if
I thought
you.
It's where you're
No,
facing.
only on the first one does. The last one doesn't.
If you use all 3 of them in succession, if you give it a second, then it's going to keep going back towards the cursor.
But you got to move like slightly in a direction, kind of like Nidalee's old pounce. Whatever. Anyway, there's a thought.
Hey, let's talk about Dragon. Base
Or if it's
gold
wrong.
increased to 180 from 145.
So
Hey, guys,
extra earlier gold.
start doing dragons earlier than you have been.
Oh yeah,
really.
They're much better now.
Gold per level decreased to
200
10 from 15 to make up for the early base gold change. But that's, like Declaw just said, it's almost 200 gold for your team. And before, people weren't doing those early dragons because it wasn't giving too much. We saw like Dignitas a while back do a dragon really early. And even with that early dragon, they couldn't keep up with all the farm that people got at the time, during the time it took them to get it. So now at 180 gold, that extra is that 35 gold. And
I'm not saying try like a level 3 dragon bullshit and everything. I'm just saying like make that a bigger priority than you have been, because there are a lot of games that where like dragon gets ignored for the first 15 minutes, and that's a lot of money you're leaving on the table.
Oh yeah.
Well, we've been preaching about it since season 2. People need to start taking. I don't even take dragons in solo queue, and I've been preaching about it. That's just one of those little things. Do as I say, not as I do. Because
Well, that's also because
Unless you
it's
do it
way
yourself.
harder to get a bunch of strangers on the same page as you to actually do stuff in an efficient and effective manner.
Right.
But
And I think a lot of people don't understand what like most junglers are capable of doing,
right.
or just how much early damage like a jungler and a support are really putting out.
I want to touch on Sivir and Trist. They just had some mana tweaks
Trist
to
had
make it.
something bigger than that. Trist
Oh,
got a
yeah.
big buff.
Well, yeah, Trista got additional one, but Sivir got just a higher base mana, mana per level, and her mana regen per level is increased. So I guess they're trying to address her mana
I
problems.
wonder
So
if Essence
spam
Reaver
some more
would be
spells.
really good on Sivir now.
I was just thinking that too.
It
Yeah.
probably would,
I'm wondering
but
that
that
too.
doesn't stop the fact that Sivir, as compared to a lot of other carries, has a hard time putting damage into turrets and surviving if the other team all-ins her.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
still a giant lane bully, and she can out-bully Lucian, though.
It's
And
that range
the
for
mana changes should help her bully people, but again, they did nerf the damage on her Q recently. I don't know. The mana changes are definitely going to help her. Essence Reaver might help her a ton, but again, it doesn't stop the fact that she does not siege turrets as well as almost every other AD carry because she's
No, she doesn't siege them, but she does
Pretty close
burn
to
them
that.
down pretty quickly.
she can.
You have
if
to
nobody
play.
gets on her.
You have to play a different
Side push
strategy
Sivir.
with her. Is all.
Well,
Yeah.
we saw CLG player this last week, and they played that side push 3-man. They played 3-man. It was 2 weeks ago. They played 3-mans with Sivir, Elise, and Morgana, I think it was. And they side pushed down a bottom lane and took an inhibitor from really quick. I mean, it was just boom, boom, boom.
You want to use guerrilla tactics there instead of trying
Right.
to
Instead
like
of
just
siege
outlast.
scenarios.
Yeah, outlast the opponent.
Now, Trist can siege, and her rocket jump mana went from 80 to 60, and apparently it more accurately checks for nearby landing spots, so it doesn't go where it doesn't look like it should go. And Buster Shot's utility, its range scales with level.
There is a
On her
different
ult.
change that
That's
happened with
pretty
it,
big.
and I only glanced at it. The way
They
it was.
they made it, instead of going from the middle out, it now goes from point to point. So it's longer, actually, at level 6 than it was before. Because the level increases based on her passive. And so now it scales differently than it did before. It used
So
to
it
do
doesn't
from
scale
middle
with
out,
rank,
now
it
goes
scales
out.
with level.
Yeah.
Which is pretty big.
Well, it used to scale with level. It's always scaled with level. It's just now the calculation is point to point rather than mid to point.
It says here range now
You
scales
mean it
with
scales
level.
with,
So
it always scaled with rank, you mean?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Now it scales
Okay.
with level. So,
Right.
that's pretty good.
And
Longer range ult.
and they also they said in the forum post how it's actually increased has been
Yeah.
increased because of, like I keep saying, where they're starting the initial calculation at is from her gun rather than the middle of where it would shoot. So yeah, that's pretty much it for these patch notes, isn't it? I mean,
Other
Yeah.
than Tryndamere getting
Bug
new
fixes. And,
icons on all of his abilities.
yeah.
since
I guess we should
that
probably
matters.
quickly
Everyone's
talk
gonna
about
play him
heal.
now.
No, we need to quickly talk about heal. I know we were talking about teleport.
Oh, yeah.
Heal now goes speed boost duration is now 1 second from 2. That's a
Right.
pretty big change for heal. I don't think it
It's a big
changes a ton, but it does make it so that you have only 1 second to move in position. So now you use heal to move into a more advantageous position for you rather than using it to outmaneuver somebody or catch up to somebody or run away from somebody. It's
It's just an you can still use it in an oh shit scenario, so.
just not as easily because that extra second in lane could be the difference between getting hit with a skill shot or not getting hit with a skill shot. So,
but
I mean, that extra second, even when you're running away from a bruiser that's barreling down on you, is a big deal.
it is a big deal. But you still have 1 second of increased move speed, and permanent health. So, still good. They didn't make it suck. So I don't think people are going to take barrier over heal just because of this. I don't think this is the
Marksman
fix
mode. No, Marksman mode. Move speed. It's got better health by the end of the game.
But it's still preferable.
So I think that's pretty much it, huh? For
the
patch
patch.
notes.
That's the patch notes.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other little fixes we talked about. If you guys want to hear, I think it was episode 169. We talked about all the changes and what we thought they were going to do, and those still pretty much are the same. I don't think numbers got tweaked too much from that point. So,
nope.
we're going to talk about
We're going to talk about Nidalee next week.
Yeah, episode 171. We're going to talk about Nidalee.
Yep.
So
stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned, guys. That's I think we're gonna end it right there. That's episode 171 of the podcast. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks for sticking with us. Don't forget to go check out Battle Arena and everything else. Everyone seems to have lost their steam and is not chiming in this week, which is okay because I'm here to take you all out. So, guys, Battle Arena Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays. And don't forget to check out the LCS Rundown on Sundays. And we go live on Mondays and Wednesdays. The only day we don't have stuff on the channel is Fridays.
And go buy Nature Box stuff at tiny URL.
That's because we're getting drunk.
It's because we're all taking a day off. So yeah, I just thought about that. We have live shit every day but Friday now.
And everybody get out there and mess with 410 now that it's out. Try it out. I want to hear feedback. So
give Badger time. He will find something to do on Friday.
Put in your questions to our mailbox. Keep filling it up with some stuff after 410 so that we can better address it.
Yeah, sorry in before 410 and you had questions.
And it relates to something that changed, yeah.
We'll probably try to change it so it relates to 410, but you might not get an answer, and I apologize just because of the patch. So, guys, that's it for 171. We will see you all next week.
And thanks for listening. We love you.